Okay, the Royal Arch of Heaven of Freemasonry. First thing you need to understand is that we're talking about the zodiac when we're talking about this Royal Arch, okay? And then we see it, which is standing on these two pillars, Jachin, Boaz. Boaz represents Judah, Jachin represents Israel. Now, as I've told you, there's been a division between the two kingdoms. What you see here is that the two kingdoms are being united by this same influence, the influence of the Pleiades. Now, the next connection that you need to make is this. Here's our biblical support. 2 Chronicles 3:15 through 17. And he called the name of that on the right hand, Jachin, the left hand, Boaz. Now, Boaz is an ancestral name directly connected to the house of David. Thus, Judah, J, comes from the house of David, thus giving this column the name traceable back to the house of David and associating it with Judah if you want to do your homework. So here's Judah, Boaz. Here's Jachin, which represents Israel. What you see is the united bringing together of the two kingdoms underneath the influence of the Pleiades. It's exactly what you're seeing, and it's what we've shown in the biblical support, which supported all of this information concerning the Pleiades and Orion, and then the connections that we had to Israel. The only mystery that you're missing here at this point from there is why we have Israel on both sides of the columns in this future event. But in this event, we only have Israel on one side and Judah on the other. Well, it's very, very important to understand. It has everything to do with the lineage of the Antichrist, okay? And that they are going to take the scepter from Judah. And I'm going to show you the scripture in Genesis which says just that. Now, that's what you see being represented in the future age, is that the scepter of rule or control is not going to the house of Judah, that it is going to leave. The scepter of Judah is going to leave, and it is going to be given back unto the house of Israel, and that they are going to be seen as the true spiritual leaders and the givers of the law. And that's what that's all about. We'll provide that later. It's important to understand that. So let's get to the basics. The very basis of the Royal Arch is that of the sun's travel through the zodiac. Okay? Now this would be the sun's travel through the zodiac. The ecliptic is the center of the band of sky called the zodiac. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we have once again a Freemasonic representation of the two divided kingdoms of Israel. This is being represented in the past. Now here's where it gets confusing. Here's where so many people don't understand what's going on. If you look at these earlier Freemasonic symbols, you're going to find out that the encoding is more about the actuality of what they're trying to do. Nowadays, they have even encoded the symbolism of Freemasonry from their own members. So when you begin to search these symbols in modern times, you're not going to find this. You're only going to find this in the later, earlier ones, because as time went on, the Masons began to hide their secrets from their own initiates. So the question is this, my friends. We've got the Pleiades being represented. If you Google search Royal Arch Cancer, you'll probably come up with this late 1800s image here. So we have the Pleiades exerting the influence, just like we saw right here. The 7 stars exerting their influence. The only thing that we got to figure out is, why is Cancer being exalted at the top of this arch? Because in reality, it's in the wrong position. It's in the wrong position, my friends. And that's where so many people have missed the point. I'll be back.